In June of 2017, an employee at a Sand Springs Walmart in northeast Oklahoma attempted to open the door to a family restroom but found it locked. After several hours, they would try again and even knock on the door, only to find that it was still locked and there was no response. This is when it was determined by a Walmart staff member that it was likely that someone had locked the door due to the fact that something inside was broken, so the staff member placed an out-of-order sign on the door. However, about 3 days would pass and the door remained locked, with an out-of-order sign taped firmly to it as well. This was unusual to the rest of the staff, as it seemed out of the ordinary for any of their bathrooms to be out of order for this long. Eventually, they would be able to summon someone with a key and had the door unlocked. But as they entered expecting to find an empty, broken bathroom, they instead found the dead body of 29-year-old Katherine Caraway. Subsequent video footage would show Caraway entering the bathroom at approximately 6 p.m. that Friday, and the door remained closed until the following Monday. 2 questions would emerge. Firstly, how did Caraway die? And secondly, why did no one report her as missing? To answer the first question, an autopsy would reveal chemicals in her body similar to those of people who inhaled the contents of aerosol cans. Similar empty cans of air duster would also be found within her vehicle. It was determined by a coroner that she had died of an irregular heartbeat as a result of difluorothane toxicity. On the subject of why she was not reporting missing, well, she was actually not a resident of Oklahoma, but instead a resident of Texas, and was currently traveling, leading her family to not be worried by the fact that she had not been seen or heard from for a couple days. Overall, Caraway's death would be considered accidental, and it does not seem that the Walmart in question was held responsible for the fact that her body was not discovered sooner. A man in a Massachusetts Walmart was shopping for a new wallet. However, when he found one on the rack and opened up one of its compartments, he found something rather disturbing. While some, I would imagine, hoped the unidentified man would open the wallet to find large amounts of money, or maybe even a winning lottery ticket, the man would instead find 10 human teeth. After unzipping a compartment of the wallet, instead of foam, cardboard, or even nothing, all things he was much more likely expecting to find, he would find 10 human adult teeth, and reportedly, one even had a filling, meaning they were certainly in somebody's mouth at some point. However, there were 2 things that the pile of teeth lacked: blood and gum tissue, ultimately meaning that the police would not be able to DNA test them. Furthermore, the man who found the teeth and alerted Walmart staff left the scene without even so much as leaving his name. Although police don't believe he necessarily had anything to do with the teeth's appearance per se, and a spokesperson for Walmart called it an isolated incident, it may never be known if he actually had any connection to them. Since this incident actually occurred back in March of 2009, I doubt anyone is really even still attempting to figure out this mystery. But I just hope that for all of you watching, that the next time you look for a wallet and find something inside, that it's just money. On March 13th, 2022, an 18-year-old woman named Naomi would visit a Walmart in Nevada around the time of 5 a.m. Unknown to her, however, a hooded and masked man was looking around outside. Upon leaving the store, the man would force his way into Naomi's car and abduct her. Police would later find her car abandoned at an industrial site, but would find no clues as to where she or her abductor had gone. Although the security camera footage was not extremely helpful, police would eventually be able to identify the alleged kidnapper as 41-year-old Troy Driver, and charged him with first-degree kidnapping. Despite this, however, the whereabouts of Naomi were still unknown, and Driver, who was claiming to be innocent, said he had no idea where she was. It was actually just hours before Driver's first court appearance that the body of Naomi would be discovered roughly 30 miles from where she was abducted in Reno, thanks to a tip received by police, at least 2 weeks since her abduction. It would also be theorized that Driver had kidnapped Naomi with the intent to assault her, kill her, or both. Although the trial has been a little held up due to the fact that the courts want to test Driver's competency to stand trial, a preliminary hearing has been set for this coming February. Some news outlets would also report that Driver had spent around 15 years in jail in the past for murder as well. Naomi was born in South Africa and moved to Nevada a year prior to live with her brother. She would frequently park at the Walmart and take a bus that stopped outside to her job. In 2016, a man would take the bus to a Rexburg Walmart around 12:30 that afternoon. The man, who was believed to be in his 20s, seemed normal enough, at least until he found a hammer and a machete inside the store. There's nothing inherently wrong with this, as these two items are sold by Walmart, but other patrons would begin to note that the man seemed to be talking to himself, asking and answering questions to people who weren't there. In addition, it was reported that the man was holding the machete and hammer in an intimidating manner, meaning less like an item he was looking to buy and more like a weapon. Police and a negotiator would be called to the store and end up spending what was believed to be about 2 hours inside. They began speaking to the man and attempted to get him to peacefully drop the weapons and surrender. However, they would note as well his odd ramblings and the fact that he was talking to himself. It is important to note at this point that the man had not actually threatened anyone with the weapons directly, but no one wanted to take any chances as the police had all the other patrons leave the store as they spoke to the man. The police were also able to note that the man did not appear to be homeless or in search of food, before they eventually managed to get him to drop the weapons and surrender himself to them peacefully, as they removed him from the store and took him into custody. Interestingly enough, initially their attempts to identify the man and learn his identity failed, as the man did not carry any form of identification and would not or could not tell them his name. In the comments of one of the videos of the man, users theorized that he was saying something along the lines of, "You sought my life, you sought my soul, you sought the lives of all the human race. I have bore witness, and I will not be fooled. I saw you change your form." Adding that the man may have been speaking to something demonic, or at the very least, thought he was. Either way, I think we can all be glad that the man had not actually hurt anyone, and hope that he will get the help that he needs. When this video started, we discussed the discovery of Katherine Caraway's body after 3 days. In this final entry, we will discuss a similar incident, however this time, one that spans roughly 3 months. On November 13th, 2015, California resident Lauren Moss would go missing after leaving a rehab center, and police would open a missing persons report, but she would never turn up. Meanwhile, a silver Volkswagen Jetta would appear in the parking lot of a nearby Walmart. Seemingly abandoned, the car would sit there in the exact same spot for almost 3 months. Finally, at some point, someone would take a closer look at the car, which had tinted windows, and discover the body of then 22-year-old Lauren Moss inside. Scrolling back the security camera footage as far as it could go, police were able to determine that the car had been there since at least December of 2015, despite the fact the body was discovered on February 3rd of 2016, and had also noted that the car had not moved once. Unfortunately, however, it would be determined by police that the cause of death was self-inflicted by Moss, and was determined by the fact that she had left a note addressed to her family, and various used drug needles had also been found inside the car. Even though this, of course, was not within the Walmart store itself, it still occurred on Walmart property. Although one could point at the store's failure to notice or act on the abandoned vehicle, it's clear such an incident is not the fault of the Walmart itself. Well, that's it for now. Be sure to like the video to help the algorithm, and subscribe to see more content like it. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out this one, where I talk about 5 unexplained disappearances caught on tape. I'll see you next time.